Today, let's talk about some Airbnb, and I want to give you 3 things to consider if you're thinking about being an Airbnb host. Let's do it. Good day, real estate lovers. This is Sam Pawlitzki coming at you from Southern California, where it is currently raining. A rare occurrence, no sunshine today, very gloomy here. And before we get started, I do want to say if you have any questions I can address on the podcast or any feedback or you just want to connect, you can find me on Twitter at TheRealSamPaw, P-A-W. Would love to talk to you. Reach out to me. I don't bite, at least not on a regular basis. Anyways, let's talk about Airbnb hosting. And obviously there's other services besides Airbnb, but Airbnb is the most popular one, so I just want to use that as an example. Vacation rental services like that are as popular as they have ever been right now, especially here in Southern California, but definitely all across the United States and the world, really. I know a lot of people think about, do I want to make some extra money? Do I want to be a host on Airbnb? And I want to give you 3 things that you need to consider before you pull the trigger on a decision like that. The first one being, if you live in any sort of community where there's a homeowners association, an HOA, there's a pretty good chance that you're probably not allowed to use your home as a vacation rental. I know a lot of HOAs out here restrict the use of short-term rentals because, they want to have a nice community. They don't want to turn into a giant hotel community. So that's one thing to think about. And you know what? Not all HOAs restrict how you can rent your unit out, but I know a lot of them do. And sometimes they'll limit it to how many tenants you can have over the course of 12 months, or sometimes they limit how, they tell you that if you are going to rent your unit out, it needs to be for a minimum of, say, 3 months, something like that. So no 10-day rentals. So definitely something to look into because you could have some pretty, depending on what the rules are, some pretty big consequences on your hand if you do end up doing short-term rentals out of your home and the HOA finds out in the case that it's not permitted. Other thing to think about, look into what your city laws are regarding short-term rentals. I know in Santa Monica, which is not far from where I live, they recently passed a law where they are not allowing homeowners to do any rentals under 30 days, something which Airbnb is actually suing them over. And I know they're starting to there's definitely some people from the city of Santa Monica enforcing those laws, and there could be some pretty big fines or consequences if they catch you basically renting it out for less than 30 days because they don't want Santa Monica to turn into a giant hotel community. So, some people are for it, a lot of people are against it. Pretty controversial law that's being fought in court right now, but I know a lot of cities across the country have implemented some sort of rules regarding vacation rentals, or they are, or they're considering doing something along those lines. So make sure, as far as HOA and city laws, that you're completely in the clear to rent your home out short term. And then the last thing I want you to think about is make sure that you actually have the time to be a good host. I know a few people, they're pretty successful Airbnb hosts, but they they have 2 units that they rent out a lot, and it's a full-time job for them just to have those 2 units. And if you might be able to handle 3 on your own, but you might want to think about, do I want to hire some sort of management company if you're going to do more than 2 or 3 units? If you have a full-time job and a family, and then you got another 40 hours involved with being an Airbnb host, that's a lot on your hands. So it's something to think about, because I know as a vacation rental host for these services, you got to keep everything nice and tidy, everything stocked. You're probably going to want to greet whoever is staying at your house, let them in, give them the lay of the land. It's It's a lot of time running around involved with that. So don't underestimate that. And yeah, just want to leave you with that for now. There's definitely a lot of people making some fabulous money renting their homes out for short term, especially in the coastal areas here in Southern California, which are super desirable, obviously, super desirable vacation destination. But just make sure you're in the clear and make sure that it's something you can actually handle and not get overwhelmed with. Again, if you have any questions I can answer on the podcast, hit me up on Twitter at TheRealSamPaw. Otherwise, I will check in with you guys in a few days. Talk to you soon.